What's up, guys? I just want to talk about my deck that I used for the pre-release. Got number one, and this is the deck that I built. Nothing too crazy. I honestly just found the best cards that I had, and mainly went for creatures with Death Touch, Menace, stuff that it's hard to block and get rid of. So, and I had multiples of the same color, so that's always the best. I didn't have any strong cards, so I knew I needed more removal. So I went for more colors with more removal and tried to focus more heavily on that. And so the goal was to remove the opponent's creatures in time for me to cast my big creatures, like these. And then since it's pre-release, it's only 40 cards and 20 health. So if I can get them down to around 5 to 10, I should be able to swing with my big boys and knock them out. So these, I did it by mana. My mana curve. This is technically my mana curve. I have one spell that is 1 mana. And then these are 2, 3, 4. And these both are 5. And this is just a specialty land that I used. And it helped me a lot. First, number one spell, it's not crazy. Actually, it kind of is. It's Pumpkin Bombardment. It deals 3 damage to target creature, and you have to discard a card or pay 2. This was really nice because I played with it with the Mayhem cost, and I will get into it, but my 2 mana cards actually went really well with this because of the Mayhem cost. So, there was that. These are kind of mainly fillers, but one of my fillers was this, especially because of the pre-release, and a lot of these cards being spiders, of course. Spider Slider was very important to help. Whenever it deals damage to a spider, destroy that creature. So it was going to die, but at least I know for sure it was going to kill that spider, or whatever it was going to block. But out of the 2 mana, these are the cards that were really strong that my deck was... I focused on. So first, Spider Punk, Riot. Other spiders you control have Riot. Spells and abilities can't be countered, which is very important and limited because instead of removal, a lot of people put counter spells. So this helped out a ton. And damage can't be prevented, so that was a strong one. And I got 2 of these, Scorpion Sling. It just target creature gets -3, -3 until turn. So a lot of removal. That's what I tried to focus on because I didn't have any strong cards. Sorry about the glare. Then, I got 2 of these. Scarlet Spider. It's a 2/1, so it's not crazy, but it has Menace. And it's only 2 mana. And it has Mayhem, so it's only 1 mana. So, turn 2, I could, if they had a creature out, or even turn 3, I can cast Pumpkin Bombardment, discard Scarlet Spider, and then my second main phase, cast Scarlet Spider for the 1 mana. For the Mayhem. If not, it's still only 2 mana to cast, so it was still really strong. Menace, when he enters, you may discard a card. If you do, put a counter on him. I did that a lot because I had a lot of lands. I was drawing lands, and I had a lot of my cards are lower, so I didn't need a whole bunch of land. And then the Mayhem. But I had 2 of them. Menace, obviously, it's very good and limited because it needs 2 creatures. So a lot of the times I got these out beginning of the game, and I was able to ping the opponent a lot faster because they didn't have multiple creatures that could block. So that's the 2 mana. Now 3. These are just fillers. News Helicopter gave me a flyer. Risky Research let me surveil. Spider Gwen. Come and stab me, discard a card if you do draw a card. But these are the main ones that I focused on and went around. A lot of these are, like I said, they're fillers. This one is really strong, especially for limited. Very, very strong. Morlun, Devourer of Spiders. That's a 2/1. It's 2x, 2 blue, 2 black, and X. So I considered it 3 because you pay 2, and then say lowest is 1. Lifelink. When he enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, and when he enters, heals X damage to target opponent. This is very strong during limited, just because I can keep this in my hand until turn 5, turn 6, pay 2 mana, so then put 4 into X, or even late game. This is really good for late game, just because I get to automatically ping the opponent for damage. I don't have to attack, don't have to worry about damage going through, it just gets the damage. And especially with, where it is, Spider-Punk, damage can't be prevented, so I have to take this damage. So, this was really strong. Really good strong card. There's that. Molten Man, it's actually pretty cool. When he enters, search your library for a mountain, put it on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. It gets +1/+1 for each mountain I control. And then when he leaves the battlefield, sacrifice a land. So basically, when it comes out, it gets me a land. And then when it leaves, I have to sacrifice the land. But it gets me a land, which is great. And it's a 0/0, so it can be... And then, obviously, because I didn't have anything strong and any big boys besides these two, I went for a lot of Death Touch that opponents didn't want to block. And then I had 2 of these, 2 more removals. Electro's Bolt, when it deals 4 damage to target creature. Or I can Mayhem for 2 mana. So, these are really strong. Like I said, I went hard, or kind of heavy in removal. 4 mana, got Carnage, which is really cool to play. Trample, enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains, it has to attack, which is basically goaded. And then when it deals combat damage to a player, you have to sacrifice it. And then Mayhem is 2 mana. A lot of the times I was able to sacrifice a card and bring his back. One really good combo I had was I cast Scarlet Spider whenever you discard a card, if you do put a counter on it. So I discarded Carnage, and then I was able to put a counter on Scarlet Spider, but then also cast the Mayhem cost for Carnage, which was pretty cool. And then my big boys, nothing crazy, they're just big. 5/4 Menace, and then I can discard his card, and so it's basically like cycle. I can basically discard this card, cycle it, until on turn target creature gets +3/+1, becomes a dinosaur. So that was really helpful, because if I knew I was going to get a creature going through, like the Menace, I can pump it up to do extra damage, because more likely they're going to save their removals for this one. So instead, and I can do it anytime. It doesn't say any instant or sorcery, which is great. And then Venom, Evil Unleashed. It's just a 4/5 Death Touch. What really helped me a lot was because of the other ability. When I discarded this, I can pay 3 mana, exile this card, put 2 counters on a target creature, and gain Death Touch. So a lot of times I discarded this, then exiled it, and put the counters on Scarlet Spider, the one with Menace. So actually really strong. And then I had lands. I think I had 9 mountains, 8 swamps, and then I had this, the Daily Bugle building. This was really strong. And all of this, it is really strong for limited, and it's pre-release because it's 40 cards, and so I don't recommend this in Commander. Maybe Standard, probably Standard, but definitely not Commander. But Daily Bugle building, taps for colorless, or I can pay 1, tap, add 1 mana of any color. But this one, the Samir campaign, pay 1, tap, target legendary creature gains Menace until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So I was able, with all my removal and like the Menace creatures and stuff like that, I was able to get rid of and clear their board. And if not, if they had small 1/1s and stuff like that, I was able to give like Carnage, Menace, or my bigger creature's Menace. Make sure it does go through. Yeah, that's it. Those are the strong pulls. Like I said, I didn't get any other strong pulls, no mythics, just this. But I was able to come out first, and my first prize wasn't super crazy, but still very exciting. It was all these packs. It was 6 packs. Yeah, it was my first ever win at a pre-release. Super excited. But that is my deck. Hope you enjoy This is, like I said, this is really strong for limited, or at least it was for my pre-release. I really enjoyed it. It did help that I had multiple cards of the same, so 2 Electro Bolts, 2 of these, because I was able to at least get my cards sooner. That is my deck. I hope you guys enjoy. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Have a good day.